Hey everyone, and welcome back to last match of the semifinal round for the week 2, day 1 Alienware Arena tournament. We're going to be moving into the Exposed Seekers versus the GameChangers. It's going to be a best of 3 arena matchup here to see who's going to face off against Cognitive Gaming in the grand final starting tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. What are you feeling about this one, Kret?
Oh god, this is... I think it's actually a really interesting matchup because I'd say Exposed Secrets and the GameChangers are the same team on different regions, right? It's like two teams where you take players that are great and they've showed themselves in the competitive scene, but they haven't had huge success, but they've got really high levels of individual player skill, like Snoopy and Funball and Frostiak and Proxy and Divios. And then you just put them all on the same team. And you've just got a team where everyone's incredibly good at playing Smite. Not necessarily tactically, not necessarily teamwork, but the mechanics are unreal.
Well, speaking of unreal, we got some bans coming out here, and Freya's going to be the first ban for Exposed. We have one more ban. GameChangers, they get Zeus. Now across the way, Shibalanke is going to be banned here by Exposed, and GameChangers has one more ban to make. What will it be? Bastet banned out. That means Odin's available. That means Bacchus is available. I imagine one of these would be the first pick for one of these teams. Yep, there's the Bacchus locked in.
I mean, we've seen Bacchus today. Bacchus is just such a strong character. He just does a lot of damage. He's very tanky. He can control the teams, or control your opposing teams, and he's a great first pick because you could do whatever you want with your team after that point. But we will have Chunga and Poseidon hovered on from the GameChangers both locked in, and that's a lot of mage power with some unconventional picks. It's definitely an interesting choice and one that I'm really excited about.
Bacchus, Scylla, Tyr all locked in here for Exposed. GameChangers has Chang'e and Poseidon. Ares instantly locked in here as well by Eonic. Now waiting on Jaja to see what he wants to pick up here. They have good support. They have good mage. Maybe a little physical damage over Bruisers. Sun Wukong, Guan Yu both available. Athena seems to be a high pick, but I don't know if he wants to go down the route of 4 magical as he locks it in. We'll see what he wants to hover on here. And probably a Bruiser type role. Chalk is going to be picked and locked in there. That certainly fits that archetype.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting draft coming out of the GameChangers, and I think part of it is going to be that you've got a mastermind of Arena on the GameChangers lineup. Jaja. If you take all the people who have played high-level North American competitive play, I'd say Jaja's probably one of the better arena players among them, and he's the one doing the strategy for the GameChangers. Now, we do have a remake of the lobby coming out, so we'll be hopping back in just a moment so we continue with these picks and bans. But what we've got so far, right, is a really strong comp on Exposed Secrets based on what we've seen in the past. I mean, in that last match, that best of 3, Scylla was a big deal. Tyr was a big deal. Bacchus was a big deal. On the other side, we've got Chang'e, Poseidon, Chalk, and Ares, and that's different. And
that's very different.
I'm not really sure Exposed Secrets is going to know what to expect.
Well, you have Ares, which is by itself very hit or miss in Arena. Ares is going to be, a driving force, or Ares can just be someone that, you kind of just ask him to sit on the benches while you do your work, because he jumps in, he initiates, he doesn't really do much because you counter everything he does, and then you go straight into the fight, or he can just get some good initiation. So it depends on what you build with him, and Ares is kind of a controversial character across the board for the community itself. Some people are heavy advocates for Ares, even in Conquest. Some people say that he's worthless, don't pick him, and some people are just on the fence itself, but Chalk certainly not. Chalk, one of those characters that when he came out, people never really gave him the respect that he deserved, but they certainly started to ante up on that. In fact, he was one of the most picked gods in the launch event, $200,000 tournament, so definitely a very strong pick. Poseidon trying to make his way back in as well, and Poseidon in Arena, that AoE cripple damage plus the burst damage, and the fact that all Arena is getting picks and backing off, having that Kraken available is huge.
Yeah, it really can be. You know, I want to touch on Ares a little bit more, right? We mentioned how sovereignty can be really powerful because it amplifies the defenses of characters that aren't building defense. If you combine sovereignty with bolster defenses, that's 60 protections going the way of squishy characters for free, and that's crazy. Ares can also bring a lot of damage to the table with Shackle and the Searing Flesh, but you know, you're right, we haven't seen Ares be as dominant as you might expect from an arena tournament, and maybe people need to focus a little bit less on that ultimate and focus on the other things that Ares brings to the table. I mean, he's quite strong, he's just weird.
Very weird. That's the biggest thing. So we're going to see how they round it off here. Hubwa and Guan Yu locked in. The last one's going to be big here for GameChangers. They have an interesting split on damage. Sun Wukong hovered and locked, actually, so the swapping will take place. I'm surprised to see how, aggressively they've adhered to this bruiser style. You know, they have Chalk, Ares, Sun Wukong, Poseidon, Chang'e. Now, this is going to put a lot of pressure on Chang'e to kind of deliver on both healing and mainly damage. I mean, Chalk can do damage, Sun Wukong can do damage, Ares can do damage, but they're going to need someone to bring it home, and Chang'e can, and she's actually, a very, very strong mage, but we're going to see how the start goes for Chang'e and whether or not she can actually get that level that is kind of required for her and her team. Across the way, Hubwa, Guan Yu, Tyr, Scylla, and Bacchus together. We know Bacchus does a lot of damage and is also very tanky. Scylla will be the one with the big burst, the crush, Sikkim, and then I'm a Monster to kind of just get those free kills. Tyr will be in the front line and Guan Yu in the front line with Bacchus, and then Hubwa for the control. So maybe Proxy took it as a personal challenge from the last game to see if Hubwa can work in arena, and Proxy's the one to do it. He loves Hubwa. He plays a fantastic Hubwa, and I think it's going to work out pretty well for him.
Yeah, I think Hubwa has a natural strength that a lot of people don't really fully understand, in that you do Water Spout into Crushing Wave. That's your combo. It does similar damage to the Whirlpool Kraken, but you're flying through the air. You can't use your Aegis when you're flying through the air. Your beads don't stop you from flying through an air, and as a result, Hubwa is a burst mage that doesn't care if you pick the Aegis, as long as he can hit you with that Water Spout first, as long as he can get that hit confirmed and then hit you with the big damage. That can be really strong. Bacchus also brings that to the table with his belly flop, so you could see like belly flop into Scylla's I'm a Monster. And Shadow Nightmare, right? We talked about the mechanics of these two teams. Shadow Nightmare is an incredibly strong player, and I think he's really going to be on point with that I'm a Monster play. And if he can combo it off of belly flop, that's confirmed damage in huge amounts.
It absolutely is, and we know how much damage Bacchus can do, and topping the charts almost every time while also taking a lot of damage. He's an interesting character to keep your eye on, so I recommend you do keep your eye on him as we go into this matchup. This is going to be Game 1, best of 3 between Exposed Secrets and GameChangers. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 1 of this best of 3 series, the last semifinal matchup of today. Exposed Secrets versus GameChangers taking place right now. Let's cover who's playing what and where they're going for what team. The bottom side, the Exposed Secrets, the blue team. You've got Proxy QQ on Hubwa, Bacchus, played by I Am Deja. Shadow Nightmare is on Little Baby Scylla, Funballer playing Tyr, and of course Frostiak, he's on Guan Yu.
On the other side of the map, that's the top side of the map, the right side of your spectator UI. In red, it's the GameChangers. Divios on Shock, Snoopy on Sun Wukong, Ionic on Ares, Jaja on Poseidon, and CV on Chang'e. But there's one thing I want to cover. Shadow Nightmare's build is Soul Reliquary, Beads, Magic Elixir, and Potions. He has already popped that Elixir. He has a red buff, and that's a lot of magic power, right? That's going to be already 108 magic power on this Scylla for the next 2 minutes.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what he wants. He wants to be able to just get that insane amounts of damage as quickly as possible. Now, Solar Reliquary will turn into Soul Reaver. And for those of you who don't know, Soul Reaver will proc a huge 15% of maximum HP burst damage on the next ability every 60 seconds. So every minute, it'll increase your next ability by 15% of the target's maximum HP. However, what this does is that when Scylla's ultimate I'm a Monster hits, it will proc on top of it, but if the Soul Reaver actually hit on top of Divios, gets bursted down, First Blood goes to Exposed Secrets. There's a knockup Whirlpool on the ground. Exposed Secrets gets the kill, but back to my original point, if Scylla gets the last hit for her ultimate with Soul Reaver, that will count as a refresh for her ultimate.
Wow, I actually did not know that. That's a really, really strong thing to have. But you know, the other thing is, that's only going to happen if the ultimate is the first move that Scylla uses in the team fight, or she gets ridiculously lucky with that Soul Reaver coming off of cooldown. But you know, let's talk about tier, right? Funball just got First Blood off of a push, and that's really strong. GameChangers can't let that happen again, but they have the tools to do it, right? They've got the Whirlpool from Poseidon, which will stop that Fearless in its tracks. They've got the chain to stop it in its tracks as well. They need to be paying attention so that they can interrupt Funball every time he goes for the Blink Fearless.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Or just kind of make it nullified, right, by CC or by avoiding it. We saw that a lot last weekend with MLC Stealth on Agni for Cognitive Gaming. Every single time the tier would blink on him, he would dash away immediately, avoiding and nullifying it, so that it was just something that they had to carefully plan out. And so, you know, avoiding that Fearless initiation is huge, and right there, without avoiding it, it gave a good start for Exposed Secrets. You know, of course, looks like they're going to be actually one ticket behind. Exposed, even with First Blood, is missing some last hits.
Yeah, you know, and a big part of that is Poseidon. Poseidon is very good at killing these creeps. Shock's no slouch, Chunga's no slouch, and it just comes down to better last hitting substantially coming out from the GameChangers. That's really impressive, and, you know, once again, just in... Okay, there it is. No, so it is still that one ticket difference. Very, very impressive mastery of the arena map coming out from the GameChangers here, and that's sort of why I have confidence in their comp. It's not something we've seen before today, or seen at all today, but they really know what they're doing when it comes to this game style.
They certainly do. And that's really what we're surprised to see, is so many teams coming out for these arena tournaments are kind of proving their stuff and how well they'll be able to study and practice and prepare for a game mode they probably don't play at all, or maybe just play casually in their off time. Blink Fearless not going to land there. That was actually a mistake on Funball's part. Didn't have the distance that he thought he would have, so didn't actually grab it up and toss it. So right now, 3.5 minutes into the match, it looks like a slight lead for GameChangers, even though Exposed Secrets has the only kill on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's Jaja, basically. It's his picks and bans, as far as I'm aware. He's the strategist behind this. He's just so good at arena. He was a big factor in, I believe, Snipe winning that last tournament, as I believe Jaja was on their roster at that time, if my memory serves me. If not, it was Incontinentia, but either way, Jaja... No, it was Incon, but Jaja still performed well in that tournament. Divios is going to get pressured. Stormcold, Waxing Moon, they'll connect to the same con. Here comes No Escape, and the damage is going to be a lot. Proxy falls. Funball forced to escape. The Kraken with the edge is going to secure Funball, and now it's a kill lead in favor of the GameChangers.
GameChangers just changed the game. It looks like it's going to be just about a 13-ticket differential after these minions go down there. Yep, 13 tickets indeed. So GameChangers are now up 13 tickets after being behind by so much. After giving up First Blood, they respond with 2 kills of their own as well as last hits on minions. So now kind of coming out and being strong. And it's surprising, too, because Eonic is such a strong player. He's played jungle, he's played mid, he's played support. In fact, he played support in his first entry into competitive scene, but now he's coming out right now playing that support role yet again with Ares. But you know, the second he gets the opportunity for an ultimate, he doesn't go for the big pull. He goes for the squishies that are going to be the most inconvenienced by being pulled or by taking damage from his ultimate. It's exactly what he got there. In fact, he earned himself 2 assists.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the power of Ares when used properly. Is it's not about actually pulling people, it's about saying, hey, I'm going to pull you if you don't react. And that's what Eonic's looking for in these engagements. It's great counter initiation, it's great follow-up, and it can be useful as a way to start those fights, but you have to be careful. Now, the GameChangers are very close to their base, which honestly is a great position to be in. even if Exposed Secrets does get a chance to clear out those wave early, they're not going to miss any last hits. The Game Changers are very safe here, and they're safe. That's going to keep their lead going. Divios will take a fair amount of damage. He's knocked up. Cavalry Charge coming through from Frostiak, but at the same time, No Escape will not find any targets pulled. It does use the beads. Intoxicate, and that's going to be a crushing wave right through. The Kraken coming out as well. Proxy falls. Frostiak falls, and now Bunball very low, picked up by Snoopy. Dazer able to jump away, but wow! And Jaja is going to find Dazer as well. Woo! Don't underestimate Tide. Poseidon knows that he has to go fast.
Thunderstrike got the hit there on Scylla. She's back and did about 250 damage and killed her immediately. Another kill in the back end. So Game Changers continuing to change the game. 7-1, 6-kill lead, as well as about 40 tickets on top. Exactly 40 tickets on top. Now they don't have as much of an active item commitment as Exposed Secrets does, but they're buying the right ones. 2 Heavenly Agilities, a Shell, and 2 Greater Purifications. That's a pretty good selection there. You know, if you went out to Christmas, looked under the tree, and you were hoping for active items, that's not that bad of an assortment. You have the movement speed, the heal increase from Chang'e, you have the slow immunity, of course you have the CC immunity and the CC removal, plus the defense from Ares. But also keep in mind that bolster defense is going to come out from him as well, and so you're going to have this combination of bolster defense plus shell, and then he goes into initiate plus the sovereignty aura. Ares got a good thing going.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and the other thing is, on the other side of the map, on the other team, Exposed Secrets, they have to pay their taxes, and they have 5 sets of purification beads, 4 of them being greater purification, 1 of them being improved purification, because they can't get pulled by Ares. That would be very bad. You would land in a Kraken, and Ares ultimate, the more people you pull, the longer they're stunned for. It's just such a catastrophic ultimate if it does hit. And it's all about, in actual use, it's all about that threat. But now Yannick's going to go forward, harassing with those chains, only going to find Frostiak, take some damage in return, heals right back up. But Game Changers, this is a very commanding lead. This is a 40-ticket lead 8 minutes in. That's 5 tickets per minute. It's a lot.
That's a huge, huge lead there for Game Changers. And Exposed, I mean, they had the lead before, but it seems like they've kind of fallen to the wayside here, allowing Game Changers to dictate the pace. And the more Game Changers get, they're about 3,000 gold in the lead right now. The more they get, the more damage they're going to be able to do. And of course, they do have Poseidon, but keep in mind that Exposed has Habwa and Scylla. So if they can survive, if they can hold out to the point where that gold tick from Arena is going to start stacking up and they'll get a nice bag of change, they'll be able to start reacting quickly to Game Changers' initiation. You know, you see Poseidon step too far forward, Hubble, Water Spout, Crushing Wave, Scylla Crush, and all of a sudden he's just gone. And that's what they're looking for, is they want to make it to the late game, and that's why it's part of the strategy in Arena, is that because you have such a great income, you're allowed the opportunity to pick up characters that only shine in the late game, because that will show up every arena.
Well, you know, the other thing, and you highlighted this a little, is Ares gives protection to his team. So, you know, maybe you don't need to get a Void Stone on Poseidon when you otherwise would have wanted to. Basically, Ionic, by playing Ares, is freeing up item slots for the Game Changers. That's really powerful, because they're able to build more damage on their carries and still be just as defensive, or they're able to build a lot of defensives and then have even more on top if they build Magi's Blessing, for example, which gives a lot of health, 350. Now they have the protections to go with it and really make it a strong defensive package. Overall, I just think this Ares pick is doing a lot for the Game Changers through intelligent team composition. Funball not going to find his Fearless there. That's going to be on cooldown, but Ares, his ultimate's going to come through, not going to pull. They've paid their taxes, and now Divius is trying to get aggressive on the Proxy. Will be pushed off by the Fearless as Snoopy gets aggressive on Dazer. CV, no, Snoopy will secure that kill. The Kraken comes out. He's going to find Proxy on the left-hand side. Frostiak in his ultimate looking for CV. Stun, I'm a Monster connects, Talu Assault secures, but Shadow Nightmare pays for it. Frostiak very low as well. He's going to be able to dash out, but he's not going to get very far.
Looking for Guan Yu, the knock up, the Water Spout, Heavenly Agility, the Dog looking for the hit, can't find it, somehow jukes the base guy, and Jaja goes down on the left side of the map. A huge engagement there, and credit goes to Frostiak with the backpedal juke, had 1 basic attack worth of HP left, and he missed it on Jaja and cut back. Now, Frosty gets double the credit here because they were grouping up on him. They wanted to kill him. Frosty was standing on side of the expired crush. There was a crush on the ground that hadn't been picked up yet. It was still sitting there, had to explode. It will explode naturally if Scylla doesn't pop it herself. And so he was running around in circles around the crush, and it actually brought 4 people to bear on that big explosion. And you see Funball gets picked off there by Divios, that Thunderstrike doing so much damage. And, you know, it's a lot of intelligent choices from Exposed Secrets right now, but the exposed secret of it all is the fact that there's 50 tickets between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of tickets. The GameChangers still in a commanding lead, 11-3, looking very, very good. And the other thing is chin size, right? Chin size is very good. With the change in the last patch, if you're hitting a target auto-attacking from 100% health to 0% health, your chin size will do more damage than they would have in the past. The damage only went down against targets where you burst them down to 50%, then start attacking. So chin size is a big factor. It's great at killing frontline characters. Divios is going to do a lot of damage to someone like Dazer or Frostiak. We do have a Weakling Curse coming out. Intoxicate onto GameChangers as Funball heads forward. Ionic going to look for the pull. The Kraken to disrupt. The pull will actually secure Proxy with the damage as Ionic gets very low. He's trying to survive. Using those protection is going to be enough. The movement speed from the chains. He's going to hit it onto Frostiak. He's going to get out. Ionic gets away with a double. He gets away with murder. That was insane.
Bacchus had to get out of dodge there. Was not safe to stick around, and honestly, that was just Exposed Secrets getting too greedy. You're in front of the enemy base. You're pushing as hard as you can. You're starting the fight yourself. You see the Guan Yu ultimate come out. The Kraken was in response to their grouping up, and it was a very linear engagement, so they ran straight down the center. The Kraken hit 2 of them, doing tons of damage. Not only that, but they have bolster defenses, which increases defense and also reduces CC durations. You have the, you know, the aura from the Sovereignty, and of course you have the shell on top of everything, so they're able to eat through all this. Plus they have 3 heavenly agility, so every time one of them wants to use a sprint for themselves, because it's heavenly agility, it's affecting everyone around them. So they have this long duration. As long as they stack it properly, their whole team is moving quickly and taking increased healing from Chang'e, you know, keeping it up all the way. So healing is increased by 25% while they're moving quickly. It's just they're built to be fighting in place.
Yeah, they really are, but you know, the other thing that I'm worried about is
bees.
Right now Snoopy, yeah, I'm always worried about bees, but Snoopy is building into chin size, and double chins on the front line, right? If you're not killing Chalk and Sun Wukong, which you're not because they're not priority targets, they're going to start carving through whoever is standing in front of them, and Divios and Snoopy are not the kind of players to hold fear. That's a beautiful pull, not gonna find anyone, but uses all those beasts. Proxy's very low. The Kraken, that will find its mark. Funball is gonna be crippled out here on this left-hand side. He's not able to do much just yet, as the unexchanged will last until now. They just fell off. Snoopy's gonna come back. He's actually in a fair amount of trouble, but that's relative because he's Sun Wukong, and a fair amount of trouble for Sun Wukong would be lot more scary on any other character, and GameChangers they're just completely controlling this game.
They really are, and you're looking at, you know, Exposed Secrets and how they're doing right now. You know, they have to start making some plays, and really it just comes down to the fact they're just getting greedy. Another greedy play, but might pay off. Chang'e dropping low, Purification Beast, Crushing Wave's gonna hit, taking him off there. CV goes down, Proxy in the tough spot though. I'm a monster available, duration about to end, needs to dunk it, not gonna hit there as Divios, actually Ionic sidesteps that one. Divios coming back out of the well there, taking a lot of damage here as he tries to disengage. Whirlpool gonna slow them down. There goes the instance, actually have the Gem of Isolation will slow for the duration. Oh, Proxy getting greedy, wants to get the kill, will not. Dunking down, double fearless. There's the double clean by Ionic and Divios, but they're so tanky right now. They need to disengage, but they won't be able to. There goes Purification Beads on Funball, getting out as fast as he can, but there goes the kill. Iron Taser going down as well. Getting out of dodge is going to be Scylla. Shadow Hammer using that Sentinel, but there's that speedy Poseidon. The Whirlpool get the last hit. Can't get the pop. Double kill for Jaja. Oh, Proxy QQ wants some more blood, but there's nothing left to have.
That was a 1 for 3 in favor of the GameChangers, and it looked so good for Exposed Secrets in the beginning, right? They had that pick onto Chang'e, and then they just stayed too long, and the defender's advantage kicked in, and Chang'e was able to get back into the fight, and the GameChangers were able to push forward because their tanky frontliners had just kept the fight going. This is just such amazing play coming out of the Game Changers. A nice trios into the wall. Divios could be in a fair amount of trouble. Waxing Moon will find Funball, and he's going to be crippled for now. No escape coming through. Funball able to ult away. Proxy gets very low. Will get taken down by CV on that Chang'e. It's going to be Joshua diving deep, looking for Funball, and that Fearless will be actually interrupted by the Whirlpool. Frostiak taken down. I'm a Monster comes through. It's not going to find enough damage, and Game Changers are just going to back off, I believe, 3 for 0. They're looking so strong, and I mean, this is, yeah, Surrender Vote has started. This is really hitting a point of no return for Exposed Secrets. They're down over 100 at the 16-minute mark, going to be going into that 10-minute, and look, here's a payload coming towards the portal. It's going to make it in! That's not supposed to happen. Exposed Secrets is in such a tough spot. They're in a predicament, and they have a shot now. I mean, knocked up is Ionic. Snoopy is very low. Game Changers are just trying to disengage, but Ionic is pushed. The Whirlpool! It's going to stop Exposed Secrets in their tracks. Kiwi with the Waxing Moon. Game Changers are unstoppable right now.
Start on Divius. There goes the stick up, slowing him down. Assault from Frostiak. We need to be careful about how long he sticks around here. Game Changers have the damage numbers. Looking at the gold, there's 7,600 gold in the lead right now, and that's a huge gold differential. Now, you do see Exposed Secrets utilizing their AoE farm to be able to push the waves back and kind of make everything as fluid as possible, but it's really difficult to manage that. I mean, you could see with Game Changers knocking down their front door and getting ready to fight, they couldn't even, go and defend the siege minion. It walked right through the portal, and so they're going to get some tickets out of that. 10 tickets total, I believe, coming off the siege minion. That's going to put it even closer to the end. 152 to 32 overall. It's going to be a 5 times ticket differential. Guan Yu ultimate purification beats not pop there. I'm a monster who's defensively. The knockup shadow never goes down here. Now the Griffin Curse is going to come out over Divios. Going to slow him down inside of the Griffin area. There goes a double kill from Snoopy. There's a shot. Actually, that Thunderstrike will finish off Proxy inside of the well area as Danger goes back in, but the same case cannot be said for Tier. Double Fearless, double Cleave. Whirlpool catches him. He can't go anywhere. The Thunderstrike. There's the Torrent as well. Funfire goes down. Now Young trying to disengage entirely. Scylla wants the hit. One more base attack would do it. The Sentinel. There goes the hit. So Shannon kills off Ionic, but at what cost, you ask, because he has to fight so hard just to get Ares down after so many dead. There's 3 tickets on the table for Exposed Secrets. Everything is exposed for them right now. The tickets are getting lower and lower. That's 3 more ways for Game Changers or a single kill. They have to be careful. Oh, Shadow Nightmare could be the one. Thunderstrike coming. It strikes down from above, and Thunder cannot be avoided as Shadow Nightmare gets picked off. Game Changers wins 128 to 0. The last one we saw from COG was 115 to 0. Game Changers had to top it.
Wow, that was an impressive display of Arena. I mean, Game Changers really know what they're doing, and now that's a crushing defeat, and that's game 1. And best of 3s, if they're about anything other than raw gameplay, they're about momentum, and the Game Changers have a lot of momentum. They will be going to a match on an EU server, but with play like that, and honestly, the characters they played, aside from Ares, weren't particularly characters that are particularly hard on high ping, right? I mean, Whirlpool Kraken, that's pretty easy to hit. Jingo Bang, pretty easy to hit. Thunderstrike, it's big. Chang'e is one of the least jukeable characters in all of Smite, aside from that ultimate, and even that's pretty tough to juke. Game Changers looking really good. They've got the momentum and Exposed Secrets. They've got to knuckle down, keep cool, and come back. But they're in a tough spot. They're still in a tough spot. I mean, that's demoralizing.
Look at the damage done. You see the most damage in the game was actually done by Scylla, 25,000 almost done by her, of course, on Exposed Secrets. But that's what Scylla does best, and it just didn't make enough of a difference. I mean, doing the most damage in the game, but losing 128 tickets to 0 is a little bit, discouraging, like you said. But, Exposed Secret has the talent. Shadow Nightmare, he built a team by himself, sent them off to, play in very big screens. Frostiak, also a wonderful player. Proxy, Funball, or I'm Dazer, they got the talent there, and we'll see if they can come back into game 2. And they have to. I mean, you go into game 2, down game 1. The strategies are they're really specific to the team that you're looking at. Some teams like to play it safe. if you're down one game, you're going into game two. Some teams like to make random strategies that just look incredibly weird and different, throw the MT off, but then, if it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And some teams just play standards like, hey, let's forget the last game, let's go right to the next one. So we're going to move right into it. Last game on EU, so, a little bit harder for some of the players there that are trying to make it work for them. Then they're going across. Of course, this is an NA tournament, but it's a coin flip in the beginning, and loser has the choice of choosing first pick or, of course, the server of their choice. And whichever one they want is kind of up to them, whether they want the strong picks or do they want the higher ping. And that's just what happens when you have an international tournament like this, sponsored by Alienware. Of course, $10,000 on the line. That's a lot of money to look at. And even if it's arena, people come from all over.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great showing. It was a 64-team bracket out of necessity, as the last Alienware Arena Cup was literally overflowing with teams. I think it was 67 teams the moment sign-ups started for that tournament. We've still got a fair number in this one. Well, not anymore, as we're down to just 4 teams. And those 4 teams, 4 teams, because you still have the consolation match. This game, Exposed Secrets against the GameChangers, and I mean, still, wow. I can't wait to see what Exposed Secrets are going to change going into Game 2, because they have to change something, right? That was home server, they had first pick, and they really got crushed. So something has to change drastically, and if they're not yelling at each other, which you hope isn't the case, right? You got to maintain your cool, got to maintain your momentum and your composure. If they're not yelling at each other, they should be talking about strategy right now and using every moment. Maybe even from the 10-minute mark of the last game, they're doing that. Like, okay, what do we change next game? Because this is looking bad. Maybe we can still win, but what do we change next game? And I don't know, man. That's going to be up to the players, because that is a really dominant performance.
It comes down to picks as well. We saw that in the end of the TSM COG matchup, is that, the team that drafted the better team is the one that's going to win. And you really, well, not necessarily, but the one that has the advantage going into it. And Arena is no different. I mean, Arena is exactly like Conquest in the way that picks matter very, very much. And, last game Exposed just didn't have the team lineup that they may have wanted here. So we're going to be hopping into this match. It's going to be game 2 between GameChangers and Exposed Secrets. And it's going to be a match to watch. You got to know that you got to be ready right off the bat. Chalk gets banned out. I feel like we're, right around the time of the launch tournament again, with Chalk being such a high point of focus now. Zeus going to be banned out in response across the way. What does Exposed Secrets want to do? Bacchus being removed there, and then one more ban to be made by GameChangers. Freya, Bastet, all of these people are really considerable bans. Geb, even if you don't want Geb to go across the other way with that shield, so very valuable in big team fights. And so, you're looking at it thinking, what are we going to ban out? It's going to be Freya.
I mean, Freya's a good ban, Zeus is a good ban, Shock's a good ban, Bacchus is a good ban. So they took a lot of powerful things off of the table, but I think removing that Shock from Divius was a big factor, as Stormcall, it's like you can't beat the Stormcall and the Ares, so it was something they had to deal with. But Shibalanke will go through, he will be locked in, and he's a very powerful arena god coming out into the hands of likely Funballer. Darkest of Nights is just not an ultimate you want to deal with.
It's really not. I mean, it's so powerful, especially in Arena. You have this guaranteed stunner step and or stun coming up. Bacchus works very well with it. Athena works very well with it. Bacchus, of course, can force them to move with the Intoxicate. Athena can taunt them and make them move. If you're moving at the end of the Shibalanke ultimate, you will be stunned. Across the way, Ares will be locked in, and Bastet locked in here for GameChangers. Seems like they just really like their Ares in Arena, and they're going to keep running it until someone has a response. But, like we were mentioning, all the possible bans, Geb and Shibalanke were in that list, and it looks like they're not going to be banned out, and so because of that, you got to pick them up. So you got Geb here, and the fact they got Geb and Shibalanke together is actually really, really important, because you have this difference, right, where Shibalanke is incredibly powerful. Everything he does is AoE, which is huge for Arena, and so he's going to be running in there doing tons and tons of damage, and he'll be safe because Geb is behind him. Yeah,
I mean, Geb is just Stone Shield, right? in Arena. He is not even Geb. He's just
feelings,
the ability
okay?
names. Yeah, he has lots of feelings, and one of those feelings is Stone Shield's. It's not. I don't think the ability is even OP anymore. It's just the concept that's OP. Because it's a shield. It's triage. You stay alive when you're not supposed to. And that's going to be a big factor to keep Exposed Secrets alive. But we do have Poseidon and Ao Guang locked in for Game Changers. Very, very strong mage ultimate characters. I mean, we saw Jaja on that Poseidon. I would expect him to be playing it again this game. And Ao Guang's Spirit Tempest, when it hits very hard and it knocks you back too. So that Poseidon and that Spirit Tempest, it's, you know, in Conquest, you see a lot of teams where it's like they draft the Ao Guang and they're like, okay, well, if they hit their Spirit Tempest, they win the team fight, but if they don't, they're in trouble. Well, here you have 2 chances to hit the money ultimate, and I really like that pickup.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The big burst is so powerful in Arena, like we were talking about last game, that, you know, if you have Poseidon, you can just go for a pick and back off. When the ult's off cooldown, go for a pick, back off. Go for a pick, back off, and eventually the credits will start to build up in your favor. It's almost like it takes the idea of, you know, getting kills and winning team fights away in Arena and just kind of like shifts it to the tickets. Whatever's best for tickets is best for me. You know, that's all it is. I just want to get as many tickets as I can, as quickly as I can, away from the enemy team here. However, it is Vamana, actually. Will it be locked in is the question, and it will indeed. Locked in for Game Changers. What a lineup here. Ares, Bastet, Poseidon, Ao Guang, and Vamana. Vamana is going to be responsible for protecting Poseidon and Ao Guang. Bastet's going to be going in the back and taking advantage of the slow, squishy targets, and Ares is just going to be in the front, forcing them to fight and fight under bad pretenses. Across the way, you got Xbalanque, Chang'e, Geb, Odin, and Guan Yu. And, you know, there's a lot that they could do with this. You have Xbalanque, of course, who's going to be slow in the beginning, granted, but when he gets to mid and late game for the Arena, he's going to be very, very strong. Chang'e is going to be having high amounts of healing. I'm surprised to see Chang'e actually be swapped over Exposed. Maybe they just really like the way she played last game. Geb, Odin, and Guan Yu together, that's a pretty defensive lineup.
Yeah, it really is, but you know, I think Vamana could crush his way through it, right? He's got that great damage addition when he's in his ultimate. I believe it's 135 at level 3 or rank 5, so level 20. It's plus 140. Okay. He's very hard to kill. Divios is very good on the character. He gets that hasten fatalis so he can stick to whatever his target is. But basically what happens is you have to dash away from Vamana or he will chase you down and kill you. Chang'e can't do that. Guan Yu can't really do that. Odin can jump away. Geb can roll away, but that's not that great. And with the cripple from Ares and Poseidon, that option suddenly disappears in a lot of circumstances where it's just, you can't get away from Vamana. He's stepping on you. You just die. Because that's what happens when the baby does the river dance. People fall down.
It's exactly what happens with Vamana. Just when Vamana wants to dance, he will dance, and you're gonna have to deal with it. This is gonna be game 2 between Exposed Secrets and Game Changers, ladies and gentlemen. You're joining us at the end of the semifinal round here, and day 1 for week 2 of Alienware Arena Cup. $10,000 on the line, with the finals taking place tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame. And we will be finding out who will be facing Cognitive Gaming in the end. Will it be Exposed Secrets or will it be Game Changers? We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 of this best of 3 Exposed Secrets versus Game Changers taking place. Let's cover who's playing what for what team. The bottom side of the map, Exposed Secrets. The blue team, you got a golden Geb Golem here. I'm Dazer playing Geb. Shanamir on Odin. The All-Fire Chang'e played by Funballer. Frostiak on Guan Yu yet again. And Proxy QQ playing his Xbalanque. Oh, what a great lineup it is.
On the other side of the map, that's the top side, and the red team right side of your UI. Snoopy is going to be playing Bastet. Divios on Vamana. CV on Ao Guang. Divios on Vamana. I said that already. Ionic on Ares, and Jaja on Poseidon.
Jaja on Poseidon yet again. it worked out really well last game, so why fix what ain't broke right now? And they're going to be doing exactly that with their burst damage. Ares. Now we got Snoopy on Bastet, but Snoopy plays a pretty fantastic Bastet. A lot of practice and history with that character for him. Divios on Vamana, of course, a character combination we know very, very well. They're kind of reaching to their roots for this game and kind of just playing what they know and playing what they like, and maybe they're just feeling, you know, a little lack of pressure here considering how well the first game went for them and the fact that even if they lose here, they're still safe.
Yeah, you know, the other way they're feeling a lack of pressure is their clear is absolutely disgusting. These minions just die instantly because you have the two best arena clearing gods on the same team. That's absolutely incredible, and that's a really, really good way to have a solid early game. I think these first 5 minutes are, at the very least, GameChangers will be able to stay safe because it's going to be very hard for Exposed Secrets to find an opening when they're always behind by one wave.
That's right. The clear is so important in Arena because you don't want to be fighting with minions. You want to be the one that clears the minions and has freedom to go do buff camps, go home and buy, go home and stack something up, or, you know, do this. And we're actually going to see both teams take a group back. It's like a group lunch. They just went back and went to the well, purchased, refreshed, and came back out. And honestly, it's really surprising to see teams not do this more often. It's literally right behind you, and if there's a lull in the action, why not top yourself off? Why not get that extra level of an item? Why not get an active item? Get that little thing that may be the difference in the next fight.
Yeah, you know, and what's most interesting to me is the active item pickups from Dazer. He went Blink because he felt he had to pay his Ares tax. You want to respect Ionic's Ares, especially after what he did last game. And then he went Shell. We're not going to see Blink Cataclysm because Dazer doesn't have Blink. Now, he can still use it defensively or just walk up and use it or roll out and use it, but it doesn't have the same impact as Initiation. And you'll likely see the Initiation somewhere else on the Exposed Secrets lineup, which is certainly fine. They've got Darkest of Nights, they've got Cavalry Charge, Ring of Spears, so they have plenty of options for that. But they did opt to not use one of their many initiation options, which is actually a decision I really respect.
Right, yeah, they kind of hold back on that one and maybe just kind of play this one by the book and just kind of play it safe, play it slow, and wait for the opportunity. And realistically, if you look at it, it's what happened last game, right? Exposed Secrets were the one driving the engagements. They were the ones initiating. They were the ones trying to get kills. The problem is that GameChangers have so many big burst ultimates that if you try to initiate them and mess up or don't get the perfect CC, there's going to be a Kraken from the ground. There's going to be an Ao Guang from above ultimate. There's going to be, you know, Snoopy jumping in with lots of harassment and damage. Ares is going to ult you. I mean, they have ways to react to you if you initiate on them, and maybe they're not looking to do the Blink initiation. Maybe they're liking to, you know, do a very standard team fight, let them come, or maybe meet in the middle, and then try to react as things show up.
Yeah, you know, and okay, so we do have a shell finish from Dazer, a shell finish from Ionic. He doesn't have a Blink yet because it doesn't feel that Blink Ares is really what he wants to go for. It's about the counter initiation. I mean, you've got Darkest of Nights, you've got Ring of Spears, you got Cavalry Charge, great initiation from Exposed Secrets. So the GameChangers, they're just gonna counter initiate, and that suits them fine. Divios getting a little aggressive, actually will take a lot of damage and likely will just return to the fountain, but there's such strong clear from the GameChangers right now that they never are really gonna feel pressure in terms of minions until the team fight starts breaking out, and then maybe something could get through from the chaos. But all it takes is one whirlpool, one tornado at that point, and the minions are dead.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just one little thing, and it kind of brings peace of mind as well. They're just very comfortable with how things are happening, and they're not really too stressed about clearing the minions or making sure the buff camps are down efficiently, and they're not, you know, sitting there clearing. You see Shipalanke having trouble with this one as he just hasn't picked up his stride just yet, the amount of damage he's able to do, but he's getting there pretty quickly. Now going to be moving most likely into Chin size. Now going to do a lot of things with it, but looking to steal the buff. Not going to find it as Divios gets that movement speed buff in the back and goes right back to the well.
And now in the middle lane, you saw CV and Snoopy actually freezing the wave and last hitting. And yeah, it's one of the great upsides for these teams in that they are all playing with a professional Conquest Hunter player. And like the first 20 minutes, a big part of their job is just last hitting. So if anyone can last hit the creeps and make sure that none of them die to minions, it's going to be Snoopy. And it's going to be Funball. They do that. That's right. Like, that's all they do.
That's right. That's their whole goal. That's how they play. That's what they do. And they're very well practiced at it. And honestly, the last hits, like you mentioned, are beneficial for the person that is getting them because they get a little bit extra gold, but it's all about the tickets. And the tickets have been pretty even so far. In fact, I think this has been the slow 0-0, no first blood yet. You know, and I think Game Changers is like, okay, we won game one. We're playing the characters we know. We're playing the characters we love. We're playing the characters we're good at. And we're just going to play for the late game and play like a normal team fight-based team. And Exposed Secret says, okay, we're kind of in a bad spot. And if we lose this the same way we lost last game, it's not going to be very good for us. And we don't want to get knocked out 2-0 against Game Changers. And so they're playing it safe because they don't want to lose much. And so, you know, they're playing passive for different reasons. But I think it's all going to come to an end. And indeed it does. 4-man Ares ultimate pulls nobody. There goes a blink in from Odin, trapping inside outgoing Spirit Sim's going to hit Odin, dropping a half HP. Chongo ultimate gets the stun up. Looking for Proxy. Proxy going to go down here. Stubby picks that one up. Now looking for the kill on CV. CV will go down as well. The Warhorse is down. Oh, Vamana's up in big baby form. The Rain Dance has commenced. Looking for Shadow Nightmare. Whirlpool Divios gets the kill on that one. And now it's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Game Changers as it all comes down to the end here. So 2-1 to 366 to 372. It's a small difference in the tickets, but definitely a good start.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of start you want to get, but it's also a late start, as you said. 366, 365 now. You're in the 300s. And the last time we saw a lead begin, it was in the 400s. So because the start is later, you have less time to create a nice big buffer. The Game Changers, no matter, well, not no matter what happens, but most likely will not go into the final 10 tickets with the same kind of buffer they had last game, even if they do have another dominant performance, just because of the timing of First Blood. Either way, Game Changers, nicely in control after that one. 1 for 2 is always a good trade, not always a good trade, usually a good trade. And the Game Changers, they're probably feeling pretty good right now.
I believe it. I mean, they're up game one. They are comfortable going into the grand finals if they win this, and if they lose, then they can just go back to the strategy that they've used so well to win the last game and kind of just pull it out in the last, and hopefully be able to be exposed. So, you know, it's the fact that everything is on the shoulders of Exposed Secrets right now. It's their game to try and lead, where Game Changers are sitting back and they're happy, just kind of watching and reacting to what happens. And you know, if it doesn't work out, they're comfortable moving on to the next round. And really, that's that peace of mind is so valuable, as you know, players are not robots. They're definitely humans with human aspects, emotions, and spiritual aspects that come into the game that they play. And you know, I think having that peace of mind makes a big difference for Game Changers. Look at the itemization. We see Jaja with a lot of penetration. Actually, a Spear of the Magus here to tick with either Trident or, of course, with that Whirlpool stack up and get the penetration needed. Does have, of course, the Combat Blink to avoid the Odin trap that has been working so far. But you know, I think Game Changers is just waiting for Exposed Secrets to try and initiate, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah, they're really not, but maybe now. Yeah, there it is. Cavalry Charge, Ring of Spear, CV stuck in the ring. Kraken comes out, and Shadow Nightmare, he's taking more damage than you expected. Odin 2 in that cage. CV will fall. Proxy returns to the fountain, but now it's Divios looking to pick up Frosty after Shadow Nightmare. He's not going to find it. That's a 1 for 0. Snoopy's in a horrible position. The rollout able to get the wall, but the DOT to secure. 2 for 0 in favor of Exposed Secrets. That initiation was exactly what they needed.
Exactly right. Now pulling it back here, 3-2. 2 kills in a row. That's what you got to start with. Look at the tickets. They're going to take a slight lead here. About 4 tickets up, 9 minutes in. Got about 11 minutes left in the match so far as players are going to stack up their items. And so look at the late game potential. They're going to be putting a lot of their thoughts and prayers and hopes and dreams into Shibalanke, because he's going to be the one that's going to bring it home for them. You got Chang'e, you got some damage from Guan Yu, you got some damage from Odin, but really they're putting it all on Shibalanke, whether or not he can get the single targets. And of course, conversely, you're looking for Guan Yu, Geb, and Odin to protect him as best they can, because Game Changers realizes that Shibalanke is the point of contact. He's the point of focus for their team. So if they can get Shibalanke, everything's a little bit more downhill for Game Changers as they go right into the rest of the team fight.
Yeah, now you gotta wonder if the Game Changers actually plan on initiating a fight at all. They have a Heavenly Agility on Ares. They could just go for the old-fashioned Heavenly Up and everybody runs in style of initiation, but aside from that, they don't really have a great option to start a fight. You've got the Ares pull, but even then, it's likely not going to actually pull anyone. And so then I guess it just comes to Vamana running in and starting to hit people. Either way, it's definitely a counter initiation style of composition, but I don't think their counter initiation has really been as successful as they wanted to be. That last team fight was 2-0, and here comes another initiation. Jaja's in a tough spot, taking a fair amount of damage. Waxing Moon comes through, and he's very low. Jumps the Kraken on himself. It will stun out a few players. No escape will pull too, and Divios looking to stomp his way through. Proxy falls to Snoopy in the back, and Snoopy's running. He's trying to get out. Weakening Curse, and another slow on to Shadow Nightmare. Shadow Nightmare jumps toward the cats. He's going to find them on the other side. Beautiful play from Snoopy. And he gets the 1-for-1, trading his life for that. Also able to pick up Proxy in the back, and you know Snoopy's screaming worth there. Wow.
Honestly, it's difficult, and he got the kill. In fact, he got himself 2-for-1 because he got the initial kill and then went back and then traded himself for Odin. So 2-for-1 at this point, especially when it's so close, is not that bad. You're getting your team a net 5 tickets up, which is fantastic. And so you're also getting the gold on top of it. But gold is in the favor of Exposed Secrets right now, so that's an important thing to know. It's just about 900 gold up. Split between the team is just under 200 gold each. So not really all that much, but certainly is noticeable enough to start finishing items before GameChangers does, or maybe getting an extra level of it active, or something that would change the fight more significantly than just having no goal between the two. Look at the damage numbers. We're going to see the top damage dealer is going to be Snoopy on best stat, but not all that surprising considering how many single target damaging he's done in this game so far. Almost 6,000 for both Shadowq and Proxy. Initiation, there's the Odin trap on side, looking for the Spear Step. It's not going to hit it at all. The jump, Proxy goes down to the Tornadoes, though, looking for CV as well. Talos goes down to the top, looking for CV, dropping very, very low. Crack is going to hit too, but not enough. Frosty dropping low. The chains will finish him off there. There goes the damage from Eonic we expect from Ares. The Flames of Fate are coming out. Funballer in a lot of trouble. He's so far from home. He buys time with his 2, but doesn't have enough to get there. Getting closer to the wall here. Whirlpool's going to pick him off, and now it's going to be a very, very huge exchange in favor of GameChangers when it was an Exposed Secret initiation like last game.
Yeah, and I think that's really the counter initiation finally starting to happen. Now, you do have the GameChangers returning to base. Divios is going to buy a very important item. He's going to buy his Hasten Fatalis. He doesn't have any active, so he hasn't had sprint up to this point, and I'd say up until now, Vamana has not been online. He hasn't been really able to do what his job is of just being an unrelenting chaser. But now with Hasten Fatalis, he can do that. And Exposed Secrets have to be a lot more careful about where Divios is in the team fight. He will chase down Proxy, he will chase down Funballer, he'll chase down Dazer, because his damage is going to be very, very high.
Very high indeed. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You have to be careful about how much damage is dealt. And sometimes you kind of hanging out a little bit too long because you're not expecting to be bursted so quickly. Oh, looking for it. The Geb rollout's going to come there for CV, but it's not going to be in time to grab him up there. Exposed Secrets would have loved to have that kind of pick on top of it just to get themselves a little bit further closer to the lead that GameChangers has right now. That last minute going down leaves us at a 6-ticket differential in favor of GameChangers. GameChangers has pulled ahead in the gold department as well, where previously Exposed Secrets had it. So again, a very back and forth matchup.
Yeah, but now Divios is getting aggressive, just running up to Frostiak and hitting him. Because he's Vamana, he just doesn't care. He's gonna run directly into these 4 people, poke them, and run away. And he's saying, yeah, hit me, go for it. Go for it, I don't care. He's finally able to play Vamana. And up until this point, he was playing a different character that's not quite as effective. Frostiak will get slowed out. Divios looking for that, but able to Warriors Will away before the chain hits. Divios, he's big. He's looking for aggression. This is finally an initiation coming out of the GameChangers, but they're not able to find anyone. No! Snoopy able to get Proxy out of nowhere. Waxing Moon only connects onto 1. Divios is small, and his ultimate will be down for quite some time. Jaja stunned out in a Whirlpool to give him a little bit of safety. Spear Tempest is going to go through, doesn't find anyone. Combat Blink away. Jaja's able to get out. Snoopy will fall to Frostiak, but Frostiak's getting very low. The chain doesn't connect. Divios, he's not going to find it just yet. Searing Flesh can't secure the kill. On the other side, Shadow Nightmare knocked right towards Eonic, able to get away. But Proxy's a little far forward. Not far
stone
enough.
shield.
Yeah.
That amazing stone shield. You can see how much of a difference it makes. Odin very, very low on HP, but with that stone shield addition, there was no chance of Divios chasing that down and getting the kill, unfortunately enough. 3 tickets between the teams now. Minions are actually going down, so it looks like it's going to be much more in favor of GameChangers. The last two, we'll put it at 162 to 172. The gold, a little bit in favor of GameChangers, 800 gold. And, honestly, it seems like Exposed Secrets is hitting their stride. Now, you have to give credit to these teams. A lot of these teams, if not all these teams, are conquest based, and now they're asked to come and play arena for a lot of money, and they're willing. They're definitely willing, and some teams know arena a little bit better than others, and a lot of teams will rely on their personal and individual aspects of their team. I play Bastet really well, I play Guan Yu really well. Let's lean on that rather than kind of doing what arena does best, or what is required most for arena. And sometimes that works, and sometimes that's working really, really well. And right now we're going to see a good example of that, where GameChangers are able to hold on, but only just. A 10-ticket lead here when it's this close is not really that big of a deal, but it's enough where if things stay the way they are, they could end up ending the game as is.
Yeah, going into the final 10 tickets, 10 to 30 is great, but going in 7 to 10, that's not too bad either. It does give you an advantage. And it's all about those little advantages, right? Maybe it's the little advantage that allows you to get a 20-ticket lead early on in like the first 2 minutes, or maybe it's that little advantage that allows you to go into the final segments of the game with a lot of control available. Either way, though, GameChangers, they're still looking strong, and they're looking stronger than they have been earlier in this game, this second match in the best of 3.
Right now, we're looking at possible initiation for Exposed Secrets that are looking to go in here. Bastet and Famana are up in front. Do they want to follow up on it or not? Famana popping the ultimate early. No one really to go on here. Sprint activation is going. Looking for Chongush. Now, the easiest target to take down, Spirit's Tempest, is available if he wants to use it. Crack is available as well. Odin trapping him inside. Looking to save Bastet. She needs a pounce, but no one can follow up here. Whirlpool on the ground will buy some time, but Bastet gets the distance. Shivalon keep falling up here. The chains will come out, slowing him down if they can pick him off or pull him out of the fight. That's huge. There's a huge ultimate for Chongush. Taking out beside. And now the Stone Shield will save the escape here for Guan Yu. Looking for Ao Guang. It's going to be Proxy QQ on the front end. Getting that damage from Rising Jaguar. And now Shadow Nightmare forced out of the fight. Backing up towards the buff camps. Bastet very low yet. Jumping over the wall. Good reaction, Snoopy. He jumps back and avoids the tug from Shadow Nightmare as Poseidon runs interference here, trying to prevent him from chasing him down. There goes the dash. Rising Jaguar, one-shot chase right into the Kraken, falling into his trap. Seafood is too much for Shibalonke as he takes him out here. Now looking for Chang'e. The hit, the slow, the tornado's not going to land. There goes the ultimate from Ares. Won't pull anyone in. There's nothing left. 2 pulls there. It's a 4 versus 4. Jaja dropping very low. The dunk from Odin might be enough. Indeed, it will. Taking out Jaja here. Shadowhammer gets the kill, but the wind will be too strong. Fair winds there from CV. Takes him out. The tornado doing work. Frosty dropping a killing spree for Divios. And now the cats are chasing down Geb. They're not going to do much here as the darts land on top of the kitty cats, and Proxy QQ will defend it for the time being. When it's all said and done and the action has fallen and the blood has settled, 107-95, GameChangers still hold the match.
I mean, that was just one of those fights where people respawn and come back in, and then they keep fighting, and it was so intense, and I don't think anyone really got substantially further ahead. I think it was a little bit of a comeback for Exposed Secrets, but it's still a very close game. I mean, wave to wave, 4-ticket difference. That's not much. And GameChangers will still go into the final 10 if people just clear until the final 10. You see GameChangers 1 minute ahead, which is a hard advantage to leverage.
Right, yeah, it's very different comparatively to what they were last game. I mean, last game, they had this huge advantage. They didn't have to consider the late game stages where the tickets are so close together, but now, it's not as big as they were expecting. You're going to see about 6 tickets between, about 5 tickets now, about 4 tickets now, so 4 tickets between the two, Exposed Secrets and GameChangers. So GameChangers has to play this well if they want to win out here, but Exposed Secrets, they both have equal opportunity to end it. And so right now, we're looking at a situation where GameChangers is in the lead, but only just jumping on Poseidon. They can't lose Poseidon here. They're going to actually get out in time. Guan Yu pops the ultimate looking for Ao Guang. The ultimate for Guan Yu is actually completely wasted here. Vomana goes up the big baby for him. Snoopy is chasing a Shivalongi. The sprint comes out here. The Stone Shield buys enough time. There's the Darth Bass that goes right back into danger here. Spirit's Tempest coming through. It's going to hit just down Nightmare. Kraken's going to be completely wasted. Well, Ares ultimate comes after the fact. Needed the Kraken for that grouping, but not going to be able to have it now. It's already on cooldown. Chunga dropping low. The winds will take her down. Shadow Nightmare's back in the fight. Shivalongi is coming back out as well. Double kill for Proxy QQ. Divius goes down. The crits are real. Looking for Ionic Rising Jaguar. Gets the distance, but Shivalongi is very low here. They needs a basic attack, but the Stone Shield, they won't be able to get it. He will drop down, but not low enough. There's the rollout going to hit Basset in the front, but doesn't want to chase that one down. It's 52 to 52, but more minions are on the ground here for GameChangers, so it looks like Exposed is going to be up by about 2 tickets.
I mean, wow, Exposed Secrets are really pulling it back, and a big part is just Proxy does a lot of damage now. We've been waiting for it. It finally happened once he finished that Deathbringer. Starting to crit for around 600, and I mean, the GameChangers, they're really feeling that. They don't have the sustained damage to match. They have to look for those bursts, and a big part is Proxy keeps getting out thanks to Stone Shield. Jaja, he's in a tough spot, forced to Aegis, damage on Shadow Nightmare. The Kraken comes out, but Shadow's able to jump at Proxy. He's looking to clean this up. Divios gets very low, and Proxy will be able, or Frostiac will be able to secure that kill. Proxy carving through the GameChangers. Do not let Shivalongi through. That's a triple. And it's looking for a quadra, doesn't find the crit. If those were crits, that was a quadra.
This is what happens, and we talked about it in the beginning, is if Shivalongi goes down, they don't really have a team fight, but all the pressure is on Proxy, and it looks like GameChangers is not on the same page as we are, so they have to stop him from hitting that momentum, and honestly, just put him out of the fight or try to actually kill him off. And that point, they will be able to control it. The tickets are coming down. Looks like GameChangers is down to 10, now to 9. It's a 2 times differential. It's going to be for GameChangers. They need to get 3 kills and 3 minion waves. GameChangers, they need either, or I'm sorry, Exposed Secrets, they need either 1 kill and 3 minion waves or 2 kills. That's all they need. So GameChangers cannot die at this point. If they give this up, it will go into game 3 and they'll have to fight it out and maybe not even get the title that they wanted or be knocked out of the running. So GameChangers is feeling the pressure right now. Minion wave coming through. It's 8 to 11. Shivalongi ultimate blind time. Divios pops the ultimate, but the crits may be too much. Divios goes down. There's 3 tickets on the table here, and Exposed Secrets is looking to take this match. Algo and Spears Temp is going to hit Odin, but he doesn't feel too much. He's far too tanky. The kill on Jaja. Shadow Nightmare gets the last little bit, and Exposed Secrets have figured out the secret of GameChangers and are now pushing it to game 3.
Wow, I mean, Proxy, he was 2-5. He was 2-5, and now he's 7-5. He just came out in the late game and was like, all right, guys, I do damage now. Deal with it. And the GameChangers couldn't. They didn't have the sustained damage. They weren't able to connect with the damage that they needed to close that game out. And I think part of it was Stone Shield. I think part of it was sprint, right? Snoopy wasn't able to assassinate Proxy because he sprinted away. He got a Stone Shield. He was able to get out and then come back in after healing up or not even taking that much damage in the first place. Or I don't believe he had any lifesteal, so not lifestealing up, but he was able to kill GameChangers basically on his damage. The next game, though, North American servers, GameChangers will be playing on their home field advantage for the final game of this best of 3, effectively making this match a best of 1. Whoever takes it goes to the grand finals, and whew, what a way to end the day.
Oh, awesome way to end the day. All the damage was on GameChangers, though. I mean, it was 28k or 27k on CV. You had 26k on Snoopy. Dominated the game. In fact, everyone Exposed Secrets was pretty much under the average of what was happening across the board for GameChangers, but 26.6 on Shivalongi, a lot of that single target, and so he's just going to be able to, kind of control the direction of the match in the lane stage, and that's kind of why you don't allow Shivalongi to make it into the arenas, because number one, his ultimate causes enough of a window for your team to initiate wholeheartedly. You have the distraction of the darkness, you have the distraction of the possible stun that people kind of have to bring into their mental foreground, where they have to realize, I have to stop this stun somehow. I have to either stop walking, I have to either stutter step, I have to skip or something, or just straight up use purification beads to avoid the stun itself. And sometimes people forget that, or they're forced to move in some way. Now, nothing on the enemy team on for GameChangers was there to, I'm sorry, nothing for looks like nothing for Exposed Secrets. I'm sorry, was forcing them to move, but it was just something that it puts in their mental memory banks that they have to react to it. Meanwhile, he's doing tons of AoE damage. He's doing tons of single target damage, big crits, and every time he has a big crit, it splits and hits 2 other people, to a lesser extent. And it's just like Xbalanque is built to close out arenas. They allowed him to get through, and they allowed him to farm.
And I think the best example of what Xbalanque brings to the table is right near the end, where Divios and Proxy were just face fighting each other, right? They were just fighting man to man. Divios goes to ult, and then he just dies.
That's right.
And that's the power of those crits. I mean, when you're hitting a tank for 400, 500, and that's a tank, that's the player who's meant to kill you on the opposing team, that's really rough. And I think part of it is, I think GameChangers went a little bit too bursty. They didn't really have that much sustained damage. It was the Kraken, it was the Spirit's Tempest, and the closest thing to sustained damage that they had was Ares with Shackle and
right.
Searing Flesh, and he just wasn't able to carve through the, I actually want to say 4-man frontline on Exposed Secrets. Let's count Shunga, considering she went Urchin, Majai's Blessing, and Voidstone. I think you can count Shunga on the front line. It was just 4 protect 1, completely. 4 players protecting Proxy on Xbalanque, and in the last few engagements, we saw why.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so crazy about Arena, why people, can love the crazy action that's involved with it, is that, it can all come down to the end regardless of what's happened. It's had that one on lock, Exposed Secrets was having trouble keeping up, but it was that last 1 or 2 botched engagements for GameChangers, which, turned everything around. All of a sudden, Exposed Secrets has the lead. They have the secure. They're pushing down to 3 tickets, and GameChangers is realizing, well, we played well all the way up until the end, but we messed up a bunch, and all of a sudden we lost. And that's really what Arena is built for, is that it's all about the action and the focus on the tickets, not necessarily built on, those single moments, built on playing perfectly the whole time and trying to just outplay your opponents in every possible physical engagement versus the strategy itself, where we leave that for Conquest. So you have to be very specific on how you want to engage, what you do with your character, how many minions you kill and get the last hit for, and of course whether you're willing to fight or not. And that kind of ideal needs to be put into the minds of every player that plays Arena, and we're seeing that, right? There's a lot of great teams. So TSM understands the Arena meta very, very strongly. We know Cognitive Gaming does as well, Snipe does as well, and all the way back, and we know that it's in their minds, but it's something very different. I think shout outs to Alienware for bringing this onto the competitive scene and bringing such a big interest into Arena, because maybe people are starting to realize that there's competition in Arena. It's certainly a game mode that exists. It's a game mode that is very high interest, high action, high intensity, and if you want to get part of it, this is how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, we've just had such a great showing coming out from a bunch of teams. We've had some really incredible matches from week 1, day 1, all the way up until now. I kind of don't want to go back to Conquest, because no, I do want to go back to Conquest, but I'm liking where we are now, because it's different and it's exciting, and you get to see the characters that you're like, I love this character. I love Ares' model, and now I get to see him be a decent pick. In fact, in game 1 of the series, be an amazing pick. Game 2 wasn't really able to clinch it out, and Yannick still played it very well, but you get to see things that you don't often see. You get to see that Xbalanque, he's pretty rare in Conquest. And
that's right.
Speaking of Xbalanque, I gotta think he's gonna be banned this game. I don't think
we're about to
GameChangers
find
will let
out.
him through.
Picking stage now underway here, going to be pulled up so we can see what's going on. And you're right. Xbalanque can't make it through. Xbalanque is a very, very strong character, although you can play around him. It's just you don't necessarily want to, especially if it makes it all the way to the end, and he's still there, and he's very strong. So 1-1, Game 3 underway here. Exposed Secrets versus GameChangers is the place to be. Chalk and the band out first, and in response is going to be Zeus here. Now the consideration is, do you let Bastet through? Do you let Odin through? Do you let Freya through? And, you know, there's a lot of things we haven't thought about. Bacchus, one of them as well. And there's the Bacchus ban, so he's not making it through. Now back over to GameChangers. What do they want to ban out here? I mean, there's so many considerations, especially with an arena where everything can work well. It's going to be Freya.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of that Freya. I guess they're saying, okay, first pick your Xbalanque. And that's exactly what Exposed Secrets will do. They're very happy with the way he played out. But when you first pick Xbalanque, well, that gives up 2 other really strong picks, and it's going to be interesting to see what the GameChangers opt to go for. I mean, Odin, Geb, I mean, the other picks that they've been using, like Poseidon and Ares, they're going to hover on Ares for now. I think that's a little bit earlier than they need to pick him, and it's going to be an Ares and Bastet hover, locking those 2 characters in.
Locking them in here now on the screen. You're going to see Geb hovered on. Frostiak may want to pick this one up. Nightmare as well, trying to select for his team. What will they want to go with? Odin is still available. Geb is available. Oh, so he's going to swap over to Odin. So Nukong, Guan Yu, a lot more characters. Chang'e seems to be high preference for... Okay, there's Chang'e. Chang'e and Odin locked in here for Exposed Secrets. In fact, this is the 3rd game in a row we've seen Chang'e in between Exposed Secrets and GameChangers. Seems like it's just highly valued and something that they want to have. And so, you know, on the right side, you're going to see some opportunities for them to grab up. Xbalanque is gone, of course, first picked right away by Exposed Secrets. Proxy wants to grab that again. Tyr is going to be hovered and locked, and Ao Guang hovered and locked.
I mean, Tyr, right? He's so strong. He's very hard to kill, does a respectable amount of damage, and brings really hard crowd control. Because effectively, Fearless is a knockback. It's a slow-moving knockback that moves in a predictable fashion, so it's easy to follow up on, but it's still a knockback, so there's a lot of times you can't beads out of it if you don't time it correctly. It's just so difficult to deal with. It's such a great way to get those kills. And Exposed Secrets are hovering over Scylla and Geb. Scylla brings a lot to the table with I'm a Monster and Crush and Sikkim. She's got a lot of control, is not difficult to kill because she still dies, and I mean, you look at her and she dies, right? It's like a stern look and she falls over. But with her Sentinel, she can get away easier than a lot of other mages can, and can get in and out of the Odin Ring of Spears if that should be needed. Geb, very strong protective character, but we've got a Kronos hover and lock in, and Kronos we've not yet seen on the GameChangers. Very interesting pick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kronos is a character that seemed to have a lot of interest, but not necessarily as much weight as you'd expect. The very first match we watched today, we saw Kronos be played as a kind of mage instead of, you know, a basic attack mage without demonic grip, more like penetration and high magic damage. And, you know, it's a little bit different than what we're expecting. But GameChangers, it seems like they have a good grasp on how to make things happen. Tyr, Bastet, Kronos, Ares, and Ao Guang lined up together for them. And, you know, they have the damage from the Ao Guang ultimate. They have the initiation from Tyr. Divyos knows his soul lane characters very, very well. Jaja, of course, playing Kronos, going to be playing his mage role very, very well. We have Ares initiation, but honestly, I think Ares may be the weakest pick here for GameChangers. They've run him 3 games in a row, and I think even in the first game, he wasn't that influential.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of Ares' influence is subtle. You've got the bolster defenses, you've got that sovereignty aura, you've got that voidstone aura, and that's all subtle things that just naturally makes people hard to kill. And then you've got cripple, and you've got that ultimate to blow beads and force people to buy beads. But buying beads isn't that bad. I mean, beads are great. You can use them defensively, you can use them offensively. They're just overall a fantastic item. So, I don't know. I mean, I think on a North American server, you could see a lot more damage coming out of Ares because of the way shackles work. It's a pretty difficult skill shot, even on NA, but on a EU, you know, maybe Yannick was having a little bit of trouble with that. And being able to hit that more reliably will certainly help, as it clears Magi's Blessing bubbles, it does a lot of damage, it can cripple for, I believe, 6 or 7 seconds. Still, though, it's still Ares. Now, we're going to go into a game. We're going to see whether Ionic can glitch it out with that Ares or can Expose Secrets once again go to victory with Proxy on Shibalanke. For Dry Bear, my name's Kret. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in the Arena Tournament. We are going to be hopping into Exposed Secrets versus Game Changers very, very shortly here. We already watched the picks. We know what went down there, so we're kind of making our way back into this matchup. It's going to be a fantastic match to watch, and for one reason only. It's the Game 3. Game 3, everything's on the line right now. Everything is on the line for both these teams. Exposed Secrets or Game Changers will be heading off into the Grand Finals to face off against Cognitive Gaming in the Grand Finals starting tomorrow at noon Eastern, of course, and that is basically where we're at in the tournament itself. Any predictions about this match?
You know, I think this is going to be, it is the first match that's best of 3 played on North American servers, so Game Changers do have that home server advantage, but I don't see anyone on Exposed Secrets aside from Shibalanke that's particularly ping intensive, right? You've got those Hunter auto attacks, but even the abilities of Shibalanke, he just kind of has cones. So I think Exposed Secrets have done a decent job picking to the server, whereas the Game Changers are running a little bit more ping intensive characters. You've got that tier with the Blink Fearless, and then you've got Ares with those shackles.
Yeah, the shackles make a big difference, especially characters that need to be moving like Odin or Shibalanke, who need to be, disengaging with Rising Jaguar, Lunge, or whatever the case may be. The cripple makes a big difference, as well as the slow. It's more of a movement speed steal, I should phrase it, in the way that he's going to take some movement speed from you, and you're going to lose some. So that's a really big influence, and also has the effects of, it increases what he can steal from other players, or makes the bolster defenses stronger, or allows you to get a stun for the ultimate, and everything kind of comes together for Ares. And Ares has been kind of a bit of a controversy in both Conquest and Arena, and how he's played, why he's played, and if he should be played at all. And that's really comes down to the team itself and the people on it, and who wants to play Ares, or whether or not they feel he's good enough. Game Changers seems to like him. It's the third time they've played him, and they've found success, a lot of success in the first matchup. In fact, ending the game 128-0 was a really big difference for Game Changers. And Exposed Secrets answered. In Game 2, they came back. They had a very strong victory in the end. Shibalanke making his presence known at the end of the game, getting lots of kills, even bursting of Amana inside of his Colossal Fury while ulted. And so that's a really big feat for single target damage to kill Vamana that quickly. Shibalanke still in this game. He's being played by Proxy QQ, same as before. They were pretty adamant about getting him, first picked him, made sure to ban around him, and make sure that no one really picked him up this time around. And so Game Changers let him through, and here he is.
Here he is, and Divios, he's gonna find Proxy beads out of that one as well with the Stone Shield. And those Stone Shields are gonna be a pretty good counter to Divios if Dazer can land it at the right time, and it'll just pull them right out of the Fearless. But Divios, his Blink's not gonna be back up for 90 seconds. That's gonna be quite some time. Ionic getting a little bit of damage to those shackles, not gonna find what he needs to really go in. And right now, when all creeps are cleared, it's going to be a 1 minion difference once again.
1 minions is all it is. Initiation, Divios jumping away at the distance. Odin traps him inside, and Gunner's Mike gets the first blood, taking him out there inside of the ring. Frostiak looking to disengage entirely as Jaja's getting those basic attacks out. And of course, early damage from Kronos is going to be very limited. Even though he does have the penetration on the boots with the shoes of the Magi, it's not going to be enough to get that all the way through on Odin, especially who has so many built-in protections and HP.
Yeah, so now it's going to be it's an 8-ticket difference in favor of Exposed Secrets off that first blood, and a little bit better clearing. And man, Divios really, that was a really good Odin cage. I mean, it was just right to where he landed off the Lawbringer. Divios taking a fair amount of damage now, will be in a tough spot as he gets bursted down, able to heal up with that power cleave, and Ionic using that no escape. He's going to pull Proxy. Proxy's going to receive the cleanse from Stone Shield, but the burst will be enough. Cat's down in the black on Shadow Nightmare and Funballer, and that's going to be a return kill for the Game Changers.
Cats are laying into Shadow Nightmare right now as well. The Tornado dropping him very low. Tier misses the Fearless, but the second misses as well. There's the Shockwave as well with the darts. Enough damage. Divios loses his life after blinking in, trying to get the kill there. Very, very greedy, and we have a bit of a flip in the ideals for both these teams. Exposed Secrets used to be the team that was relentlessly initiating and getting shut down for it, and now it's going to be GameChangers.
Yeah, and that's tough because, I mean, we saw what Shibulongi could eventually do last game, but what if he doesn't have a rough start, right? What if he's able to get rolling soon? But here, we do have a lot of minions grouped up, and the GameChangers, they're just going to be last hitting, pruning the wave, and making sure minions are lost for Exposed Secrets. So a good strategy there, but, I mean, they're really kind of pulling out the stops in order to control this map, because GameChangers haven't been getting the best of those fights. Not at all, and it's kind of strange to see a tier die twice already. He's going to go into Urchin instead of Jones, which is what a lot of tier players prefer to get early, and that's rough. That's very rough.
It's very, very rough. It's difficult to try and control this. So, you know, they want to make sure that the distance doesn't get any bigger. It's very small now, and it's definitely either team's game. And really, it just comes down to the last little bit. These kind of games that progress slowly are the ones you want to be careful about. So, Exposed Secrets does have a pretty significant lead here, about 6 or 7 tickets once these minions are cleared out. Of course, they have more minions to clear. You know, and it's not a huge lead. It's something that can grow. 3-man ultimate, 4-man ultimate area is going to pull nobody. Tornado was on the ground as well, so to make sure that that is what we're looking for. There goes this Odin ultimate. Crush gonna go over. Frostiac going down here. Tornado on the ground looking for Shadow Nightmare. The Tornado's doing a lot of damage. He sentinels away. Spirit Tip is not necessary as the Tornado did the work already. Now looking for I'm Dazer, taken very low. Cataclysm buys time. Watch the Tornado, and one shot from Jaja will take him out there. Now looking for the follow-up on Chang'e with that Razor Whip, but not necessary. GameChangers have changed the game.
Yeah, they have. They really took control there, and a big part of that, Snoopy got the cat block onto Frostiac against a pillar, and that's not easy to do. It's the kind of thing that's a little bit of luck, lots of timing, lots of skill, lots of awareness, and basically what you do is you just set up the situation to give the cats the best shot of finding that block, but then they just have to do the rest. He's able to get it there, and because of that, Frostiac wasn't able to move. He took a lot of damage, and by the time he was rescued by his team, he was already too low and cleaned up by the GameChangers, allowing them to fight. A nice Fearless. Fun Baller will receive the Stone Shield, but is at the end able to avoid that time stop and get out with about half health there. But a fair amount of poke coming onto Exposed Secrets. They're not going to be able to follow up on anything until they regroup, heal up, and look. But Frostiac, he's going to receive Stone Shield, gets rather low, and gets annoying. NATOs are strong.
There goes the hit from Chronos, getting that time rift on Chang'e, forcing him back. There's a crush. Make sure to get the last hits on the wave. And honestly, you know, if one team is really fast in clearing the wave, you're not really too worried, because it means a full wave's coming in and no minions are attacking it. Spirit's Tempest, though, looking for attack on the burst damage on CV. Will get the kill there with the crush, as well as initiation from Odin. This is why Odin is just so good. You don't have to combo with him. Just put a noodle in a bowl.
Yeah, Odin is like another version of Ares in that you have to pay your taxes. If you don't get the actives to survive in the cage, you just blink and kill you, and his team will clean right up, as we saw there. CV essentially gave away a free kill, and he needs to invest in actives if he doesn't want that to happen again, especially considering Odin's ultimate, by default, is a 70-second cooldown. When you take 25% off of that, it's going to be up about every 50 seconds, and Frostiac's going to keep looking for those opportunities.
Yep, well, that's all he needs to do is just keep jumping in, looking for the trap, doesn't have it, and that's about it. You know, just try again next time. Look at him, he does have Jotun's Wrath, so he has the CDR on top of it. There goes a huge hit on Shadow Nightmare. Just in passing, taking that much damage, it's just not enough for him to sit, you know, in between his teammates. He's got to sit pretty far back. Otherwise, he just takes a lot of harassment and possibly just gets jumped on and then gets taken out very handily. Full menu wave coming through here, exposing me to clear this out. Looks like the game is pretty much even. In fact, it's going to be dead even. About 1 or 2 ticket differential between the two teams. GameChangers has kind of turned around the momentum that Exposed Secrets had picked up. In fact, they're in the lead for kills right now, 4-3. There's another trap inside for Jaja. Going to rewind. Will it be enough? Spirit Steps coming through. Is going to hit anyone. Going to find just on Dangerous. I'm a monster doing absolutely nothing there as Divios tries to disengage. Sikim's not going to hit. Crush gets the slow, but that's about it. Damage very limited. Divios looking for it. I'm Danger. Rolling away. The pull might be enough. Does he have an ultimate? No, he doesn't. Pulls right into Jaja. Kind of goes by some time, but how much time will he need to get out of here? Very low on HP. There goes Snoopy. Does he have a Razor Whip or something? There goes the hit. One more goes. Danger goes down as Snoopy comes in from behind. Funballer knocked up. Trying to get away. The chains. The damage. The Chunga. It might be dancing her way to victory. She will dance her way to safety at least. Not victory this time around. GameChangers pulls ahead. Jaguar coming for it. Divios backing back towards his own base, but he's not going to be able to escape entirely as, of course, Xbalanque is not chasing anymore. And now at this point, 310 to 302, it's going to be an 8-ticket differential. It was a good engagement by GameChangers. It was forceful, but not all the way committed.
Yeah, that's really the best way to put it, in that they went deep, they looked for targets, but they didn't go so deep that Exposed Secrets could really punish them. And Exposed Secrets was looking for the whole time, right? And we did see that kill onto, I believe it was Jaja by Funballer. That was not really an overextension, but it was just a fearless and a side effect of that. But Funballer was able to get away, which is the downside there. This is still just, it's a really close game, and I don't think it's really what one would have expected, considering the way GameChangers played in that first game. Exposed Secrets have just done a great job of addressing their issue, but Proxy, he's gonna get addressed, taken up by Jaja. A nice ring of spears, traps in 3, shockwave through the wall, but Snoopy is gonna get damage onto Shadow Nightmare, dropping him down and forcing him back into the fountain. With Shadow back in the fountain, Divio is able to get another nice fearless onto Dazer, but that's a tank and they might be getting over aggressive here. No escape, will pull 2, Spirit's Tempest, that's the money combo. Frosty goes down as well. I'm a monster, finds damage onto 2, does not find confirm, and in fact it's Shadow Nightmare that's taken down, and out of nowhere, one fight, and it's like 30 tickets. That was just such a big fight for GameChangers.
You know, everyone talks about how Ares is so easy to counter, and if you're prepared for it, all it takes is that one moment where the Ares is watching, and he knows you don't have purification beats, and he knows you don't have your ultimate, and he knows you don't have Aegis Amulet, and then he just goes for it. And you get pulled in, and the Spirit's Tempest timing was beautiful there to just hit him as soon as they pulled in, and that was a 3-kill exchange for GameChangers, and that was beautiful timing and coordination. And if they keep that up, they can put Exposed Secrets back in the corner that they came from. But right now, you know, you're right, 30 tickets, about 34 tickets between the two, or I'm talking about actually a little less, about 28 now, as it does clear out. So, you know, a little bit different than it was prior. Definitely a small lead for GameChangers, but we saw that before. GameChangers had the lead before, but when it came down to blows at the end of the match, Xbalanque was still there.
Yeah, but now Xbalanque's got a counterpart in Jaja, I think, in that they're both late game potentially auto attackers, but in this case I think Jaja's going a little bit more ability based. A nice 3-man cripple, and Ionic will get the kill on Shadow Nightmare with the raw damage from his ultimate. Now looking to back out here as Divios is in the front line. Proxy's starting to get some damage off, and Divios will be in trouble. Cataclysm comes out. He's only going to find the front line, Ionic, and that's not too troublesome. Spirit's Tempest is gonna snipe out Dazer, but I'm a monster snipes out Jaja. Her CV forced to blink away after that one. Shadow Nightmare. Wow, what an ultimate.
That was a great shot from Shadow Nightmare. He needed to get that. I mean, his team desperately needed that kill. Oh, now looking for another kill on Snoopy, but of course he just jump away. I'm not entirely sure as to why Funball decided to initiate there. I mean, it's a 60-second cooldown he doesn't have anymore. Looking for the crap on top of CV. Chonga ultimate from over the wall. The dance is too strong. CV goes down. Divios is trying to fearless somebody, but does it a little bit too short and doesn't grab anybody up. What a beautiful pickup there now, Guang.
You know, I think Funball just thought he'd actually do pretty good damage to Snoopy, but Snoopy has that urge and keeping him alive. Jaja, though, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Combat Blink, just enough to get him out of that one. Wow.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good control. Good good control. And now we're pulling this forward here. 13:40 into the match. We got a little bit more than 20 tickets here for Game Changers, and they're happy about it. They're comfortable with it. And, you know, it's just a one-match thing. This is the end of the best of 3. This is game 3. It all comes down to this, and whoever wins this wins it and moves on to the grand finals against Cognitive Gaming tomorrow. And so they got to play for everything here. There's nothing left on the field after this game has been done. And so, you know, you got to make sure your ultimates are landed. You got to make sure you're initiating. Shibalanke has to die. That's pretty much it for Game Changers. They do not want him to live. Now, keep in mind, they do have Scylla. And so there's 2 aspects there. I think that's what makes Exposed Secrets lineup much more balanced than it was last game. The fact that, you know, they want Scylla dead, and they want Shibalanke dead. They can't always do both, depending on the circumstances of the initiation. Now, turn that back around. Game Changers, same thing. You don't want Kronos to live. You don't want Ao Guang to live. You don't want Bastet to live. And, you know, Bastet's hard to pick. Ao Guang, you know, once he dumps his tornado and his ultimate, he's not as valuable, but Kronos is the one they're going to have to focus on, so maybe it's a little bit easier here for Exposed Secrets. Cat's looking for Shibalanke. He's got the sprint, he's got the move speed, doesn't have the distance. Ninetales not going to get him, I'm sorry, Declaw not going to find it there, so Snoopy puts him all the way, but Zha goes down. Bastet left his team alone. The backside burst savers from Chong is going to be far too much. 3-man Cataclysm. The shell comes out as well, buying some protections for his team on top of everything else. The darts on the monster not going to hit anything there. Tier jumping out, using his ultimate defensively, and that's going to be the end of the engagement.
Yeah, Snoopy just wasn't able to find that kill, and I think part of it is just Proxy got away because of his move speed. His ultimate gives him a lot of move speed, allowing him to get out of those cats before it was too late. But he didn't actually have slow immunity on his sprint. I think he must have used beads there to get that slow immunity. Still, Snoopy just can't get Proxy down by himself. I think that's just a cold hard fact because of the way movement speed and sprint and slow immunity work against Bastet. You can force him out, but you can't kill him, and Snoopy needs to realize that and go back and help his team next time, because Chunga, Odin, and...
Well, I mean, they have a lot of synergy between the two. You have Geb for protection, you have Geb for interruption with the shockwave, and of course his ultimate's good for initiation, counter initiation, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of opportunity for Geb to get in there and get the job done. And so you're wondering, you know, you're looking at it thinking, how are they going to make this work? Initiation comes out, Ares chains might be exactly how they make it work. Purification piece buys time, no damage on a Proxy who's going to survive inside of the well. Blink from Odin trapping 4, 5. The blink from Ao Guang as well as the jump for Snoopy will bring him out of the fight. Chonga ultimate whacking Moon Paul Proxy with huge crits on Zha. Big exchange there for Exposed Secrets, and now looking for Odin. Odin's going to jump into the well, and now Divius is trying to disengage. 3, 4 on top, and now he gets the distance here. Does he have an ultimate? He does not have the distance, doesn't have the ultimate, doesn't have the friendship, doesn't have anyone to protect him. The damage from Odin's going to be enough to finish him off there. Even Shibalanke came to join in on the fun, and now, even when it's all said and done, it's a 10-ticket lead for Game Changers.
Yeah, Game Changers still have the ticket lead, even though those last 2 fights have really not gone in their favor, and they just need to figure out what to do. They're not able to deal with this aggressive front line from Exposed Secrets. It's just Chunga, Geb, and Odin aren't dying, and they're doing too much damage. And I kind of think, but then there's the other problem in that you can't leave Scylla and Shibalanke alone. You just can't. They will kill you. And we see it there, Proxy on this right-hand side trying to find pressure, will be forced to dash away, and there's the Stone Shield used, but Tyr didn't find his Fearless already, so that Stone Shield usage isn't that big of a deal. And, you know, I actually think it does come down to Tyr. I think he needs to find the right pick on the right target, someone that the Game Changers can actually burst down.
They need it, but there's initiation. Odin jumping on top, looking for a follow-up here. Ares chains coming down. Spirit Stamens comes out as well, looking for Scylla in the backside. Zha wants some damage here. There goes the time rift, and it's huge. It takes out Proxy kick you immediately. Frostyak's going to go down as well. Game Changers getting a lead here as they're looking for Divius. Divius looking for Funballer, though. He's not being deterred. Now Geb is going to follow up, looking for initiation to slow them down. Fearless, knock up. Shadow Nightmare goes down. Rewind from the Zha to buy some time so that Funballer. Chonga forced to disengage, and now Josh is going to go do some buffs here. That was a huge exchange for Game Changers.
Yeah, Game Changers really found the kills in that fight, and I think the secret there was Jaja. His damage just was huge, right? That time rift hit for, looked like 500, looked like a lot. He carved through his target, and they just need to put their weight on his shoulders now when it comes to the damage, and leave Snoopy to sort of, I guess, pushing Proxy or Shadow Nightmare out of the fight for as long as possible, because he can definitely do that. He can't necessarily kill them, but he can keep them very far back. Now, Divios is going to get aggressive. Fearless is forward, doesn't have the other stance, so he's not able to pull anyone. Jaja looking for his advantage on the right-hand side, but these teams are just, they're poking and prodding at each other. They're saying, is there an opening here? Is there an opening here? Where can we initiate? Is now sitting at a 24-ticket difference, and that's going to be roughly 7 to 10 if all continues as it is when we get to those final tickets.
Tickets are ticking down. Chains coming out here on Scylla. She's going to sentinel away from that one. There's the initiations. Chains. The spears on the ground. The stun's going to come out. Shadow Nightmare dropping very low. Jaja wants it. Can't get the distance. The crush is going to be huge. He blinks out of that one. Proxy gets kill on Jaja. Shadow Nightmare is going to survive here. Gibbs holding back 3 players from GameChangers. Now Divios is surrounded here by both Frostic as well as Funball. The cats are on the ground, but they're doing very minimal damage. Frostic dropping very, very low. The cripple is enough. The chains. The tornado is going to bring him down. Frostic goes down in favor of GameChangers. Primal Monster not going to land the Rising Jagger on Divios. Can't get the distance though. He's not going to fall up. Proxy QQ wants to get out of dodge, but he's going to actually get out of death here as Proxy QQ goes down in front of the siege minion. Ionic is controlling the wave push here as Shadow Nightmare comes right back out strong. He's got no one to jump on, so he holds his hand for now. 68 to 40. GameChangers in the lead.
You know, I think the biggest thing here is actually Ionic on Ares, right? He's got that Void Stone, he's got that Spear of the Mages, so whoever he's hitting has no magic protection. And if CV lands a Tornado or Jaja lands a Time Rift, that's what gets the kill. They need to target what Ionic's targeting. Doesn't really matter what it is, because the amount of penetration coming through is just massive. But there's another cage. It's going to be on CV and Ionic. The crush is going to connect, but in the back, Shadow Nightmare gets taken down by Jaja. He was not in the cage. He was able to run free. Snoopy looking for Funball, but going to actually return the rest of the fight. CV drops the Spirit's Tempest right before he dies. Proxy able to secure that one, but dies on his way out. Jaja stunned out by Cataclysm. A little bit of damage coming out from Funball, but where's Ionic? He's running forward. He needs to get his eyes on a target. It's gonna actually be Snoopy. Finds the Sikkim. I'm a monster. It's gonna connect. It's not gonna do enough. Snoopy drops the cats defensively just to zone for him, but they don't do too much. And now 50 to 11, 49 to 11. Now the wave's clearing, but either way, it's a big ticket lead.
GameChangers, you know, they're up for 36 tickets. That's huge. It's a big, big differential, and they're gonna ride that wave. Now, Exposed Secrets, they can't hide anymore. They have to fight here. The ticket difference is so high that they have to go in and fight. Even if it's 9 waves, they have to be very careful with how they handle themselves right now. They can't die, but they also can't wait. Initiation, Dazer, there goes Initiation. Odin pops down the spears and retreat them, and Pope got the Geb inside of the rings, actually. Not in the Tornado. Geb is going to be taking a lot of damage. You're going to go down as well. Frostic jumping over on top, looking for Ao Guang. Going to find him, and the backside of CV goes down. Frostic goes down for the last hit. GameChangers 34 to 0. Controlled the pace of the entire game all the way to the end. 5,000 gold in the lead. That's how you do Arena. Now, second game, they didn't take it as seriously as you would think they would and kind of just played their own characters. Vilmana, a very strange character in the Arena, one we don't see, if ever, honestly, in the Arena matchup. But this time around, GameChangers pulled it through. Looking at the damage numbers, 28,000 done by Ao Guang. He's going to be far and away the most damaging character in the game. But not only that, he got a lot of last hits on the minion wave. In fact, he was responsible for a lot of the minion control as things moved on.
Yeah, I mean, he really controlled those minions. Now, in Game 2, we had Ao Guang and Poseidon, which made for crazy clear, but it was actually a little redundant. In fact, I'd say that's really a big problem for Game 2, was Ao Guang was redundant with Poseidon. Both of them on the same team just didn't make sense, but having Jaja and Kronos instead did make sense, and we saw that nice split where Jaja was able to skirt the edge of the fight, look for the pick, and I believe right near the end of the fight, it was the second and last engagement where he was able to find Shadow Nightmare in the back before I think Shadow Nightmare got his ultimate off, which is a huge, important pick. If you can kill a mage, pretty much any mage, Agni, Ao Guang, Zeus, Scylla, before they get their ultimate off, they haven't done their job. Able to get that kill onto Shadow Nightmare was really, really big. And then it also came down to Ionic. He made his team tankier with that bolster defenses and the sovereignty. He was able to shred through the protections of Exposed Secrets with that Spirit of the Mages and the Void Stone. And I think it actually did come down to a lot of team synergy in terms of the composition on the GameChangers, where the individual characters interacted in very intricate and complex ways, whereas Exposed Secrets was like a really strong front line, 2 great backline characters, and then like hope your backline doesn't die, protect them with Stone Shield, and then kill everybody. Whereas GameChangers like, alright, zone with Snoopy, skirt the edges of the fight on Jaja, CV tries not to die to Odin and get the Spirit's Tempest off, maybe off of the Ares pull, Devios is there for disruption, Ionic provides their focus target. It was a lot more complex in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is so much going on there, and really the biggest thing is that people don't give enough credit to Arena and how complex it can be. We saw that today. The meta is alive and well, and I think the only thing left to say is that thank you, sir, so much for tuning in today. Make sure you tune in to twitter.com/SmitePro for updates on the competitive scene and what's going on. Make sure you're tuning in tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, right and ready for the grand finals of this Alienware Arena 2-week event. 2 weeks have come up all the way to this last little bit. The grand finals taking place, Cognitive Gaming against GameChangers. It's going to be a very strong matchup, and you don't want to miss it. Again, it's going to be right here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame, taking place tomorrow at noon Eastern. That's going to be the place you want to be tomorrow. But as far as this cast goes, we're all finished here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For myself, the production team, the admins, and of course all the moderators in chat making things run smoothly today, and of course everything that has been going so well this last week. We thank you. Myself and Kret, we're here, we're going off. We'll see you later.